you ever found yourself questioning if your passions really matter? Like, how can I focus on something like love when there's so much happening in the world? Wars, economic struggles, global chaos. That's where I've been. I've always known my purpose deep down. I've known my life path is about teaching love, not just romantic love, but self-love, self-worth, everything in between. To be honest, I've been doing this since a very young age. Women that are my age now would come to me and I'd only be 12 years old and I would still spout out wisdom that, they'd have to check with me. I'm like, are you sure you're 12 years old? They would do that. And years later in life and, in my early 20s and even later when I have a teenager myself and I'm helping all these young girls, it's so natural for me. Like I'm just that good at it. And that's not to brag. I don't mean it to brag. I'm just saying that I was really designed this way. And, you know, I hesitated. Not because I doubted myself, because it almost felt too frivolous to focus on love in the middle of so much uncertainty. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever wondered if what lights you up is enough when the world feels so heavy? But here's the realization that changed everything for me. Love isn't small. Love is everything. It's literally the path that led to my enlightenment, to my oneness, to my moment. For those of you that are not familiar, I had a near death experience without the death, and I remember everything. And it's love. It's that unity. It's non duality. It's so much bigger than just a relationship. It's not separate from chaos, it's what transforms it. Love is the foundation of self expression, of connection, of growth, and that's why it's more important now than ever. Recently, I discovered my human design, and it was like everything finally clicked in place. I'm a manifesting generator with a right angle cross of love. That means my purpose is literally love. It's what I was designed to embody and share. And suddenly, my upbringing made so much sense. You see, my mother raised me to know my worth, to walk away from what doesn't serve me, and to trust in my ability to thrive no matter what. She taught me that love starts with self respect, with detachment, and with an unapologetic commitment to who you are. That's why self love and self worth have always been second nature to me. It's in my foundation. But here's the thing, I spent years dancing around my purpose. Not because I was scared, but because I was worried about pigeonholing myself. As a manifesting generator, I have so much knowledge to share. And love just felt too simple, too narrow. Now I realize I couldn't have been wrong. Love is the most expansive thing we can talk about. It touches every part of our lives, our relationships, our sense of self, how we move through the world. So here's the question for you. What's the thing you've been dancing around? What's the purpose, passion, or the truth you've been avoiding because it feels too big or too small, or because you're worried the timing isn't right? On this channel, we're diving headfirst into love. But this isn't fluff. This isn't about self expression, self worth, and spiritual embodiment. We'll be covering everything: red flags, relationship pitfalls, what love really is, equally important, what love is not, the spiritual aspects of it, the way that it's a path to enlightenment, all of the relationship dynamics. We'll even get into human design, because I honestly believe that if you don't know who you are and appreciate who you are, then others can't appreciate who you are. Because if love is a mirror, and I truly say this all the time, then if you're not clear on who and what you are exactly, then you might have the tendency to question your self worth. or to allow other people's criticisms in and maybe have you questioning your ability to function in the world. Or maybe because of a parent being a certain way, they expect you to be a certain way, and you're not designed that way. And so then your life becomes this big question mark, or you become something you're so not meant to be. And then how difficult would it be to love and appreciate that aspect of yourself if you don't know what that is? So this is so much bigger than just, I want my person back, this kind of silliness. I'm going to get into it all. Let me get into like why you would be attracted to someone. As you notice that I talk about trauma. Yes, trauma is part of the journey. A lot of times learning what love is not or what not to do is just as important as loving what is. And you can't let what has held you back or what has hurt you in the past determine your future, or you're not growing. I recently had someone tell me, but what has happened to me in the past has shaped me. It's kind of hard to think differently, not to have these fears. And yet, darling, let me tell you something. You have to. You have to. You have to be willing to take responsibility for what has happened. Look at the behaviors that you've done. Accept responsibility. Doesn't mean blame for what has happened, and then be willing to course correct, because if we don't change, the reality won't change. That's the truth. But most people aren't willing to tell you that. I will. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a way of being. It's how you show up for yourself and honor who you are unapologetically. I honestly want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like you were holding back from your purpose? What's the one thing you've been avoiding, even though you know it's part of who you are? And what does love mean to you? Not just in relationship, but how you show up for yourself. Please feel free to drop the answers in the comments. I promise you, I'm reading every single one and I'm taking time to respond. Not just an automatic reply. I want to know your stories. After all, it's my life purpose. This is a conversation, it's not just a monologue. And if you're ready to stop holding back and start living in alignment with your blueprint, keep watching. This is just the beginning of something incredible. So, I'm sure you'll notice the change in direction in my channel, but I'm diving headfirst into my purpose. So I really hope you stick around. I hope you learn just as much. I have a lot to offer. I have a lot to offer. And I'm really excited about the direction this is going in, because I'm going to stay in alignment with who I am, who I was raised to be. And I'm going to stop feeling as if that's not enough. In a world full of chaos, perhaps that's exactly what I need to be. So I hope that I lead by example, by being myself, by being honest, and I hope you join me on this ride. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And I hope you enjoy the new direction. And just going to say this really quick. True to my manifesting generator nature, I can switch directions on a dime. But this time, it's not an accident. It's very intentional. Welcome to the new aspects of Ask Cindy. God bless you guys.